Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're zeroing in on something that can really elevate your English, especially if you're sort of in those intermediate stages. Pronunciation?
Absolutely. We found some great stuff, really practical tips to help you sound clearer, maybe feel a bit more confident.
Yeah, because grammar and vocab, they get tons of attention, right?
They really do. But clear pronunciation, that's often the key that unlocks actually being understood. It lets you connect better, even if your grammar isn't perfect sometimes. Good pronunciation just makes things easier for everyone.
Totally agree. So, look, our goal here isn't chasing some kind of perfect native accent. That's a whole other thing.
Right. Not the point today.
It's about clarity, confidence, and just, being easy and pleasant to listen to.
Exactly. And the materials we're looking at today kind of structure this around what we can call the 4 pillars of English pronunciation.
Okay, 4 pillars. I like that. What are they?
Sounds, word stress, sentence stress, and intonation. These are going to guide our chat.
Perfect. Okay, let's dive into that first pillar then. Sounds.
Right. The individual sounds, vowels, consonants, they're the absolute basics, the building blocks of speech.
Yeah.
And our sources point out a few common ones that tend to trip up intermediate speakers. Focusing on these can make a real difference pretty quickly.
Okay, so what's top of the list? I bet I can guess.
A 1.
Is it the th sound, like in think versus this?
You got it.
Yeah.
Always a tricky one for lots of learners. It causes so many problems.
It really does. So give us the lowdown. How do we nail these?
Okay, so for the unvoiced, that's the one in think, thumb, thirst. You put your tongue gently between your teeth, just the tip.
Okay.
And blow air out. No voice, just air. VH, feel that friction.
Yeah, it's like a little hiss, I think.
Exactly. Now, for the voice one in this, the tongue is in the same place between the teeth.
Right.
But this time, you turn your voice on. Use your vocal cords. You should feel a buzz, a vibration. The HH it voiced.
The HHH voiced? Oh, yeah, this, there. I feel it right here. It's subtle, isn't it?
It is subtle, but crucial. And, it's interesting. Many languages, especially in Asia, just don't have this sound at all.
Right.
So it's not just moving your mouth differently. It's making a sound your mouth might literally never have produced before.
Yeah.
That takes practice.
Makes sense. Okay, think this. Got it. What's the next sound challenge?
Next up, distinguishing between short and long vowels. It's often about how long you hold the sound.
Duration?
Exactly. Our sources give some great minimal pairs, words that are almost identical except for one sound. Like ship versus sheep.
Ah, the classic.
Ship, sheep, or bit versus bait.
Yeah.
Full versus full. The long vowels, like the E in sheep or beat is just, longer.
So when I say sheep, I should really stretch that E sound out a bit more than in ship.
Precisely.
Yeah.
A good way to practice is to say the pairs slowly. Exaggerate the long vowel first. Sheep.
G, okay. Beat.
Yeah, but gradually speed up. It trains your ear to hear it and your mouth to make it.
It feels like sometimes the difference is so small, though. Any other clues besides just the length?
That's a good question. Sometimes the surrounding sounds give clues, or the context, obviously.
Yeah.
But honestly, the main acoustic difference is the duration. That's the key thing to practice.
Okay, focus on the length.
Yeah.
Got it. And then the dreaded R and L sounds.
Another common hurdle. They can sound really similar if you're not used to distinguishing them.
Yeah, I know learners who really struggle with this one. What's the trick?
It's all about tongue placement again. For the R sound, like in write or pray, you need to curl the tip of your tongue up and back a bit.
Okay, up and back.
Towards the roof of your mouth, but don't touch it. There should be space for air to flow over it.
Right, okay.
For the L sound, like in light or play, the tip of your tongue needs to make firm contact. Touch the ridge right behind your top front teeth.
Wow. Oh, yeah, definite contact there. Light right. I feel it.
Yep.
Let's try the pairs.
Light right.
Light right.
Play pray.
Play pray. Glass, grass. Okay, yeah. Focusing on that tongue tip for O and the curl for R helps.
Definitely. And our materials also give a nod to ending sounds. Things like the final S or ed.
Oh, super important. Dropping those can really change the meaning or just make things sound unclear.
Exactly. While there wasn't a specific drill in this source, it's definitely something to keep on your radar. Pronouncing those endings clearly matters a lot for grammar and clarity.
Oh, sure. Okay, that covers sounds. Shall we move to the second pillar, word stress?
Let's do it. Word stress. This is all about which syllable of a word gets the emphasis.
Right. And stressing the wrong syllable can really Well, it can make a word hard to understand, can't it?
It absolutely can.
Yeah.
It can completely throw off a listener. Think about the word photograph. Where's the stress?
Photograph, first syllable.
Right. But what about the person who takes them? Photo and Jafer.
Ah, shifts to the second. Photojafer.
And the adjective. Photogyraphic.
Moves again. Photogyraphic. Wow, okay, that really shows it.
Doesn't it? The pattern changes depending on the word's form or job in the sentence. It's kind of fascinating how English has this rhythm inside words driven by stress. Very different from languages where syllables are more equal.
Yeah, like a little beat within the word itself. Okay, our source has a mini drill. Should we try it?
Let's hear them.
Okay, repeat these, focusing on the stress syllable. T-able.
T-able. Stress on the first.
Application.
And application. Stress on the third syllable there.
And the tricky pair. P-sentent, the noun, like a gift.
P-R-E-sent. First syllable stress.
Versus present, the verb, like to give something.
Present. Second syllable stress. Big difference in meaning just from stress.
That present one is such a good example. So what's the big takeaway for word stress?
Well, the materials offer a really great secret tip, basically. Whenever you learn a new word, learn its stress pattern at the same time.
Ah, make it part of learning the word itself.
Exactly. Don't just learn the spelling and meaning. Check a dictionary that usually mark the stress. It'll save you so much trouble later on.
That's really solid advice. Okay, pillar number 3. Sentence, stress, and rhythm. This is zooming out a bit, right? How we stress words within a whole sentence.
Precisely. It's about the rhythm of spoken English.
Yeah.
English sentences have a sort of pulse, a beat.
Okay.
This comes from stressing the important words, the content words, and usually gliding over the less important grammar words.
Content words, those are like nouns, main verbs, adjectives, adverbs, the meaning carriers.
Exactly. Words like table, run, beautiful, quickly. And the grammar words, articles, prepositions, helping verbs like the to they tend to be unstressed, weaker, quicker.
Creates a kind of strong, weak pattern.
That's the idea. It gives English that characteristic rhythm. Our sources have examples. I'm going to the market.
I'm going to the market. Yeah, I hear going and market loud and clear.
And he wants to eat lunch.
He wants to eat lunch. Wants to eat lunch, stand out.
Right. That contrast is key. It might feel strange if your own language works differently, maybe more syllable timed, but getting this rhythm down is huge for sounding natural in English.
Okay, and we've got another drill here. Shadow practice. The idea is you listen, then repeat, trying to copy the rhythm.
Good one. Let's try.
Okay, first sentence. I'll say it slow, then more naturally. She's studying for her test. She's studying for her test.
She's studying for her test. Okay. Feeling the stress on studying and test.
Yep. Next one. They were running to the station. They were running to the station.
They were running to the station. Okay, were, running, station, getting the emphasis. Though were is a helping verb, sometimes they get stressed for emphasis or contrast, but mostly running in station.
Good point. Yeah, this shadow practice seems like a great way to internalize that flow.
Definitely helps you feel the beat.
All right, on to our final pillar. Intonation.
Ah, the melody of English.
The music. You called it that earlier. I like that. How our voice goes up and down.
Exactly. And it's amazing how much meaning and emotion intonation carries beyond just the words themselves. It really brings the language to life.
So what are the common patterns our materials highlight?
Well, a big one is rising tone for questions, especially yes-no questions, like, are you coming? Hear that little lift at the end, coming.
Coming, yeah, it goes up. Definitely signals a question.
And if for simple statements, it's usually a falling tone, I'm coming. The voice drops down at the end, coming.
Coming, yep, falling, clear statement.
And then there's the pattern for lists. It's often a rise on each item until the last one, which falls.
Okay, how does that sound?
Like, I bought apples, oranges, and bananas, Rise, rise, fall, signals the list is finished.
Apples, oranges, and bananas. Ah, I hear it. Very neat. Okay, guess what?
Mini grill time.
You know it. Intonation practice. Let's repeat these. First, the question, do you like pizza?
Do you like pizza? Nice rise at the end there.
Okay, the statement, I love pizza.
I love pizza. Falling tone, simple fact.
And the list. Today, we'll study grammar, pronunciation, and writing.
Today, we'll study grammar, pronunciation, and writing. Perfect list intonation.
This is great. Understanding these patterns really helps add that naturalness, that musical quality. Okay, so the resources then shift to putting this all together in like real life situations.
Yeah, which is crucial, right? Practice needs context. Seeing how sounds, stress, rhythm, and intonation all work together in a conversation.
Definitely. So first dialogue is asking for directions. I'll read both parts.
Okay.
A, excuse me, can you tell me how to get to the train station? B, sure, just go straight, then turn left at the lights.
Okay, nice and clear. What should we focus on there, pronunciation-wise?
The notes say, pay attention to the word stress in turn left. Make sure that T sounds are clear, not dropped, and just generally use a friendly, helpful intonation.
Makes sense that turn left stress is important for the direction. And yeah, the tone is key.
Okay, dialogue 2. Ordering coffee. A, hi, I'll have a large coffee, please. B, sure. Anything else? A, no, that's all. Thank you.
Simple, everyday exchange. What's the focus here?
Main thing highlighted is politeness, specifically using a falling tone on thank you, a little downward slide at the end. Thank you.
Ah, yes. That falling thank you sounds much more final and, well, standard polite English than a rising thank you, which might sound like a question or unfinished.
Exactly. It signals the end of the transaction politely. So, okay, we've covered the pillars, seen them in action, but how do we make this stick? How do we practice consistently? The resources suggest a daily routine.
Yeah, and it's refreshingly simple, not asking for hours, just 5-10 minutes a day. Consistency over intensity.
Love that.
Yeah.
So what's the plan?
It breaks down like this. Spend about 2 minutes just listening actively to a native speaker. Could be a podcast, news, anything.
Okay, just absorb the sounds.
Then 3 minutes shadowing. Try to mimic exactly what you just heard, the sounds, the rhythm, the intonation, like an echo.
Right. Repeat immediately after them.
Then 2 minutes. This is the brave part. Record yourself speaking. Maybe reading a short text or answering a question.
And then listen back. Oh, that can be painful, but so useful.
It really can. You hear things you don't notice while speaking. And finally, 3 minutes focusing consciously on any tricky sounds or words you know you struggle with. Targeted practice.
So listen, shadow, record and review, practice trouble spots, 10 minutes max.
Exactly. Very doable. Listening trains the ear, shadowing trains the mouth, recording gives feedback, and targeted practice fixes specific issues.
And doing that consistently, even just 5-10 minutes daily, is way better than one long session once a week.
Absolutely. Builds muscle memory and good habits over time.
Okay. And finally, our sources wrap up with some motivational thoughts, which is important because, let's face it, pronunciation work can feel like a long road sometimes.
It really can be. It's definitely a journey, not a destination you reach overnight.
Yeah.
The key thing to remember is every time you practice, even for a few minutes, you are getting closer. You're making progress.
And mistakes are okay.
Mistakes are more than okay. They're proof you're trying, stretching yourself, learning. Don't be afraid of them. Just try to learn from them.
That's a great perspective. Believe in yourself. Value your own English voice as it develops.
Exactly. It doesn't have to sound like someone else's voice. It's your voice, becoming clearer and more confident.
Really good reminders. So as we wrap up this deep dive on pronunciation for intermediate learners, wow, we've actually covered a lot.
We really have, from tiny sounds right up to the melody of sentences.
And hopefully for you listening, this gives you some really practical things to focus on.
Yeah, think about how paying attention to the sounds or vowel length or where you put the stress or how your voice rises and falls, how that can genuinely make you easier to understand.
And boost your confidence too.
Definitely. It's all connected.
It really comes down to focused practice and building those good habits. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Think about this. Clearer communication isn't just about avoiding misunderstandings. It's actually about opening doors, isn't it? Well, when you can express yourself clearly, you can connect more easily, share your ideas more effectively. It unlocks opportunities for deeper understanding and connection with people all around you. It's powerful stuff.
That's a really great point. It goes beyond just correctness. It's about connection.
Exactly. Well, thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive today.